Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela, and I did almost this whole video and then realized I'd skipped something. And I don't know if I actually did anything or the wrong thing in that time frame, but I am doing the hashtag Deck Crush by Lisa Pepez, Dani from Dani Mystic, DawnMichelle from DawnMichelle Tarot, and Marlene and Theresa. They all collaborated and did 8 prompts for kind of like a Valentine's thing. And it's called hashtag Deck Crush. And I was going to do it yesterday, got tired, and then decided to go ahead and do it tonight. Before everybody else starts getting all theirs in. So there's 8 prompts here. The first one is the Fling, a deck with which you have a short period of wild times. And I chose the Supernatural Tarot by Inside Editions. It is not a deck that I've had wild times with, because any deck I've had a wild time with, and I love the cardstock on these decks. This was my first Inside Edition deck ever. Any deck I've had wild times with, I tend to have for the long haul. This one I quickly used and then quickly was like, nope, we're done. Because, and I love Supernatural, and I was getting this more as a novelty anyway, because the show had just ended forever. And it's a partial pip deck, as is all Minerva Siegel Inside Edition decks. But the parts that are not full-on pips, I felt like they could have done better. So that's why I have a hard time using this deck. And I literally used it in the very beginning and then have never used it since. And so I think for that reason, and it didn't put me off Inside Edition decks, because I have 9 now. And I still have like 2 more I want to get now. Because the other ones I have read fantastic. And I love them. I just couldn't get past some of the images they chose for the non-pippy parts of this deck. But yeah, so that's my Fling. We had a time. Our time is done. That's the end. That's all she wrote for that. But it is going to stay with me forever, because I don't get rid of decks. So stunning Supernatural Tarot. So the next one I have is and I'm going to use this page here. I don't know where my other paper went. I had them written down. This is Supernatural Tarot. So the next one is Puppy Love. A deck with which you were infatuated but couldn't make a long-term commitment to. And I want to make a long-term commitment to this deck so hard, because it's so freaking beautiful. It is the Orion's Animal Totem Tarot by Rockpool Publishing. It is so stinking beautiful. Everything about this packaging is gorgeous. It's got the same cardstock as the Mary L, even though the Mary L was by Shipper. And the same kind of silver edging. It is so beautiful. I've hardly used this deck, just because I almost feel like it's too precious to use. It is very innocent, which is how I see Puppy Love. It's that first feelings of becoming more of an adult, but you're still a child, and you're kind of confused with what you're feeling. That to me is Puppy Love, and that's the way I feel with this deck. It's beautiful, and I love it, but it confounds me because I don't reach for it. I don't read with it, but it's so stunning. And so I feel like this every time I look at that Ace of Wands, the Dragonfly, it's gorgeous. And every time I thought about this specific prompt, I thought of this deck only. So I'm like, yeah, it's so stunning, but I never reach for it. And it upsets me that I don't reach for it. Someday, hopefully, it will become more than Puppy Love. I hope. So that was prompt 2. Prompt 3. I don't know why I keep moving that around. Prompt 3 is Friends with Benefits. A deck you care about, but sometimes get extremely passionate for. And that is my Elemental Wisdom Tarot. It is by Tarot Tech Studio. It's the ones that made the something mansion, Dark Mansion Tarot, and the recent Slavic Legends. This cardstock is stunning. It is the most stunning deck I have. The wands in this is what makes me passionate for this deck. Because, I mean, come on, like, it's a rhino. Come on. It's stunning. Very easy to read with. The images are just stunning, and that's why I get passionate for this deck, because it's so beautiful to look at while you're reading with it. Yeah, I've had some good times with this deck. Look at that tower. The night skies inside there is just stunning. Stunning. The mermaids, look at the wand. The Queen of Wands, just gorgeous. King, gorgeous. Lovers, the whole reason I bought this deck. I actually saw this on Tarot Tech Studio, or Tarot Oracle's channel. As soon as I saw this deck and this card, I immediately went and bought this deck. It's stunning. And then we have let me see if I can find her. The sun there, gorgeous. The Two of Pentacles, and this is my second favorite card. That Temperance, stunning. It's just beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that. Gorgeous. The Empress in this with the wheat behind her, just gorgeous. I'm not going to get to see them, am I? But yeah, it's a stunning deck. It is one of the few decks in my collection that I do have this obsession with the wands. I don't typically reach for the wands or like the wands, but I love them in this deck. It's super gorgeous. The cardstock is like butter. It's amazing. I talk about it a lot because it's stunning. So yeah, I get passionate for that deck. Next, that was Friends with Benefits, which was number 3. 4 is Love at First Sight. A deck you have loved from the start. Self-explanatory. And this is 2 decks. One is my Encore Tarot by Theresa Marchetti. This is a deck that I didn't think I'd get. Look at that red gilding. Come on. It was out of print when I found it. Look at this drink card. Stunning. And he was never going to make any more. And I prayed that this deck would come back in print. I needed it. As soon as I saw it, I think I saw this one also on Tarot Oracle's channel. And I'm like, I need this deck. I need it. I need it with every fiber of my being. I need this deck. And then all of a sudden it was back in print. And I bought it and I got it. And I have not regretted any moment of it. It is so stunning. Trying to find the moon again. The moon is the entire reason I bought this deck. Look at Hermit. The entire reason I bought this deck. And yeah, my favorite moon. Even now, with all the decks I have, there's a certain freedom in this card that I just admire. And I love it. And it's stunning. And I love this deck. I've loved it since the moment I saw a walkthrough of it. Yeah. I stalked Theresa Marchetti until he put it back in print. And I think you can still get it now on his channel or on his Etsy page. Also, in that category, we have the Stretch Tarot by J.E. Stretch. This is a deck from the UK. I edged it in this blue. It has this weird, fantastic cardstock. I saw this on Nina from Shuffle Tarot's channel. And before the video was over, I had bought this deck. Didn't realize it was still in print. But as soon as I saw her, she was actually doing a past life. Oh my God. That's upside down. That's weird. She was doing a past life reading with it. And it was immediately the exact deck I had pictured for a past life deck. And I'm like, it's like J.E. Stretch reached in my brain, pulled out this deck, and then made it a deck years before I even got into spirituality, past lives, any of that. And so I just found that fascinating. I have been connected with it since the day I got it. I've done some fantastic reads on it. I've now branched out to doing mediumistic reads with it. It is a all-around workhorse. I love this deck. This and the Encore Tarot are the only 2 decks I have in my collection that it was love at first sight. and immediately bought as soon as I could. So that was, I don't even remember what prompt that was. Love at First Sight. That was prompt 1, 2, 3, 4. So number 5, One Night Stand. A deck you tried out but moved on from almost immediately. Sometimes you think about that deck still. And I'm sorry, Lisa, I know this is one of your great decks you love. This is the Bonfire Tarot. I wanted this. It was on my wish list for a very long time. This is the mass market version. It's very glossy. Walked into my local metaphysical shop one day. She had a bunch of copies of it. I'm like, ooh. Bought it. Brought it home. The second I pulled it out of the box, I'm like, no. It is so busy. It is the only deck in all the decks I have now in my collection that physically makes me ill. I don't know why that is, but it's so busy, it makes my eyes hurt. As soon as my eyes start hurting, my head starts hurting, and then I get nauseous. Now, I will say this is some stunning, stunning artwork, and I want to work with it. I just can't. I don't know. It makes me sick. And I don't know if that's a spiritual thing or if it really is a deck that, and look at that death on the bottom. A deck that just, it's too busy for me. Way too busy. So that is the One Night Stand deck. And I'm sure we'll have more than one night stand, but for now, that's all I got. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We were on a break, a deck you separated from for any reason, and the only deck I could think of, I made a pouch for it, is my Mariel. It's, again, the same cardstock as the Animal Tarot deck I showed you. Same kind of gilding. This deck, I had it on my wish list for a long time, and then my grandmother passed in February of last year. And it's like she said, hey, you need to buy this deck now. And I'm like, but I don't want to. I don't want to. And I had just officially taken it off my list for the last time, never going to buy it. And then she died, and it was like, she said, hey, buy that. And I'm like, why? And it almost feels like she was too afraid in life to do her spiritual stuff. And now that she's passed, she feels that freedom to be able to do that. And she's kind of doing that through the cards and me of we're learning this deck together kind of deal. And I've had some profound readings with this deck. And it feels like when you've had a very heavy meal and you want dessert, but you just can't because you're so full and you have to digest it. That's this deck. So it's going to be that ebb and flow for me because every single reading I have with this brings up ancestor, not just ancestor stuff, but family drama, family trauma, family issues, and that I need to work through before I can work with the deck again. That, and in that respect, this is more my grandmother's deck than mine, because I think she had a lot of issues she needed to work through that she never did. And in that respect, we were both working through those traumas together. And it's a lot. So that is a deck right now I'm currently on a break from because, yeah, you have to take a break. So the next prompt, that was, we were on a break, number 7, Marriage Material, a deck that has proven its value to you. I made a horrible pouch for it. This is my Soul Cats Tarot. This is the artwork is by Adam Ohlers. I raved about this deck last year. So hard, so often. This is the only deck, tarot deck in my collection that I did not put down for a minimum of 2 months straight when I got it. Even my Soul deck, which is coming up, did not get this kind of playtime in the beginning. And I love it so hard. Love it so hard. It's like, yeah, total marriage material. Yeah. I would be happy if I didn't have the deck's prompt I'm going to show you. I would still be happy with this one. But yeah, that is my marriage material deck. It's stunning, and I love it. And that's all I can say about it. It's beautiful. So the last prompt that they put on here, number 8, Happily Ever After, Your True Love deck. We all know that my Light Seers is my soul deck. This is the mass market Hay House version. And my life would not be complete without this deck. As you can tell, this was the 3rd tarot deck I ever bought. I came into tarot in that spot where the indie deck was gone, but the mass market had not come out yet. And I saw this on Lisa Pepez's channel, and I'm like, I need this deck in my life. And it was already gone. And next thing I know, it's literally probably within a couple weeks came out mass market. And I'm like, what? And this deck I've talked about so many times. It's that best friend that will give you the truth every time, even if you don't want to hear it. But they do it in such a way that is so gentle, so sweet, so loving, so kind. And it's also that deck, and look at that strength on the bottom. Come on. It's also that deck that we could be parted for months, and I could pick it up, and it's like we literally just picked up our conversation where we just left off. It's so stunning. This is my soul deck, my number 1 deck of all time. If I could only ever have one deck, this would be it. Now that I've said that, I do have a second, and I could not mention this prompt without mentioning the Bone Stone and Earthflesh Tarot. It has that awesome slidey cardstock. It's edged in red, and you can tell I use it a lot. This is almost the same energy as my Light Seers, but not quite. This is Anatorian that did the artwork we all know and love. Stunning deck. Stunning deck. And if I could only ever have 2 decks, it would be Light Seers in this one. They almost mirror each other. The only difference that I can see is that I've used this one with medium as a mediumship deck, whereas the Light Seers I've used as my friend deck for personal readings for myself. And yeah, these two are my babies, my everything, my special decks that I love so hard. If everything else went away, these 2 decks would remain forever. Now, real quick before I run out of time, I do have a extra prompt. Nobody else I've seen has done one yet, but I thought it appropriate because, especially with the new movie with Ashton Kutcher and Reese Witherspoon coming out, I think it's called Your Place or Mine, where they're friends forever, and then they realized love was there all along. The deck that went through every prompt and made it into my Happily Ever After started out as a fling, and went through all the prompts and made it into my Happily Ever After also, is my Journey of the Sacred Bee. I did not want this deck. I fought it. I told it no. Oh, and my box is busted. Oh my God. Freaks me out. I have all 3 of the decks now. There's teal gilding here. Look at that. Look, it's stunning deck. I bought this deck. I'm like, I don't want you. It said, but you need to buy me. When it was a Kickstarter. Kickstarter went over. It was still available. I'm like, I don't want you. And it's like, but you need to buy me. And then I bought it. First deck I bought it in 2021. Got it in like 4 days. Opened the box. I'm like, okay, whatever. Opened the box. Went through the deck and was in love. I used it, and the more I used it, the more I loved it. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I love you too. And we've been buddies ever since. We had a nice little fling at the beginning, and it just immediately blossomed into much, much more. And I love it. And so I just thought I would add that. I don't know what you would call that as a prompt, but it's a deck that started out as a fling and went through all the stages, all the prompts, and made it into my Happily Ever After. Because it's one of my top decks. I have now shown you all 5 of my top decks of all time that have never been out of my collection, will never leave my collection. If you can guess what all 5 are, let me know in the comments below what you think they are. But that's my video. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you're alerted to any future videos. And you guys have a good night. Bye.